Do you remember the good old PSP? Well, did you know you can bring the entire PSP interface to your PS Vita? With just one app, you can have a separate firmware on your console, allowing you to play PSP and PS1 games flawlessly. This app is by far one of the best for the PS Vita, and in today's video, I'll guide you through the proper setup so you can unlock your console's full potential. The application we're looking at today is called Adrenaline, and it's a homebrew application which modifies the official PSP emulator of the PS Vita to run a PSP 6.61 custom firmware. Additionally, Adrenaline also enables access to full PSP home menu, running under the official PSP emulator. My name is Robles Jr. and I'm passionate about creating content focused on the PSP and PS Vita. If you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing for more videos like this. I also stream weekly where I hang out with my community and host live Q&A sessions covering everything from console mods and homebrew to personal life struggles and beyond. There are 3 simple ways to install Adrenaline on your PS Vita, and I'll walk you through each method step by step. Method 1 is installing it via Vita Deploy. If you jailbroke your console using the web browser method, you likely already have the Vita Deploy app installed. This all-in-one app lets you access VitaShell, format your SD card, and download essential applications. Open Vita Deploy and navigate to Download Applications. Select Adrenaline and download the app. Once finished, on your home screen, you should now see the purple icon of Adrenaline ready to go. Method 2 is installing it via VitaDB Homebrew Store. Open up the Homebrew Store, search for Adrenaline under Utilities, download and install the app. Now, if you don't have VitaDB Homebrew Store, you can install it via USB. This is the manual installation. Download the Adrenaline VPK app via the pinned comment down below. Transfer the VPK file to your PS Vita using VitaShell via USB connection, and you can install the VPK directly on your console through VitaShell. Now let's set up Adrenaline. Once installed, locate and launch the Adrenaline app. If you see the option to download the 6.61 PSP firmware, press X to proceed. Press X and follow the instructions to complete the installation. However, if you encounter an error stating that the file cannot be found and there's no download option, you'll need to manually place the firmware file in the correct folder. Moving on to manually adding the PSP firmware if you came across that error. Download the 6.61 firmware, the link in the comment section down below. Connect your PS Vita to your PC using VitaShell. Press select and make sure that you have the SD2 Vita selected and USB mode, or use FTP mode if preferred. Once downloaded, make sure that the firmware is named 661.pbp, and if it's not, just rename it. We're gonna move this file into the following folder. Go under your UXO folder and find the folder called PSP EMU CFW. Copy that file into that folder. Close VitaShell and reopen the Adrenaline app. If the firmware was placed correctly, you should now see an option to install it. Press X and follow the instructions to complete the installation. Now that you have Adrenaline all set up, you can press the home button twice to exit out of the application. You don't need to hold the home button to access the Adrenaline settings. You can do that, but I feel like that's a little bit tedious, so double tapping on the home button will get you out quickly. Let's move on to copying your game files. Now that Adrenaline has been installed, let's add your game files to the correct directories. Let's first connect your PS Vita to your PC and open the File Explorer. Navigate to the root of your PS Vita, and you should see a new folder called PSP Emu folder. If you don't, you'll have to enable hidden files in your File Explorer settings. Let's begin with the PS1 games, and the games will be copied into the PSP folder under the Game folder. They should be under the PBP format with the name called eBoot. They must have their own folder, and you can use the game's name to name that folder so the system can read these games correctly. Now for our PSP games, they should be in ISO format, ISO or CSO format, and you can place these in the ISO folder in the PSP Emu root folder. If you don't see that or it doesn't exist, you can just create the ISO folder and place all of your PSP ISO games in there. Now you can convert your PS1 games to CSO or ISO format, and you can just dump them into this folder if you do have those types of PS1 games. After successfully transferring your games, you can launch Adrenaline, and you should now see your games visible under the game option. If you see a corrupt file error, it could mean that the file name is misspelled, the file is corrupt, or the game is not compatible with the emulator. And that's it, you now have the PSP emulator Adrenaline set up and ready to go on your PS Vita. Enjoy playing your favorite PSP and PS1 classics, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and happy gaming.